Have you ever met someone who looks perfectly calm on the outside, but you just know that inside, their mind is a raging storm? This is a story about a man who had everything: wealth, land, and respected. He was missing the one thing that truly mattered: inner peace. In a quiet village, nestled among golden sugarcane fields, lived a farmer named Raman. He was strong, hardworking, and incredibly prosperous. His land stretched as far as the eye could see, and his barns overflowed with grain. But for all his riches, Raman was a slave to his own anger. If a worker made a small mistake, he would shout until the birds in the trees flew off in fear. If his son accidentally spilled water, he'd scream until the poor boy cried. Doors would slam, tools would fly, and with each outburst, his home grew quieter and colder. People in the village didn't respect him, they feared him. The women would whisper amongst themselves, "He has everything in the world, except peace." One scorching afternoon, a worker accidentally broke a wooden plow. Raman's face immediately turned beet red. He snatched a broken piece, hurled it into the dirt, and roared, "Useless fool! Do you have any idea how much this costs? You eat from my earnings and still destroy my tools." The worker just bowed his head, trembling in silence. A few hours later, Raman's young son ran to the fields carrying a pot of water for his father. Excited to help, he hurried, and tripped. The clay pot slipped from his small hands, spilling all the water onto the dusty ground. Raman's blood boiled. "Can't you even walk properly? Get away from me," he shouted. The boy's eyes filled with tears as he ran back home, clutching the empty pot. That evening, as dark clouds gathered, Raman realized with a jolt of panic that his freshly harvested crops were lying uncovered in the fields. As he rushed to move them, he slipped and fell hard into the mud. Soaked, furious, and utterly defeated, he pounded the wet ground. "Why is everything against me?" he screamed at the sky. Later that night, Raman sat at the dinner table in a heavy silence. His wife and children ate on the far side, keeping their distance. No one spoke a word. For the first time, he truly noticed the vast, empty space around him. His success had filled his pockets, but his anger had emptied his home. That night, sleep didn't come, only regret. The next morning, as Raman walked through the village, an old woman called out to him, "Raman, my son, come have some tea." She was his late father's old friend, a gentle, wrinkled woman with kind, knowing eyes. Raman hesitated for a moment, but then followed her into her small, humble hut. She placed a blackened kettle on the fire and poured water into it. As the water began to boil, the kettle hissed and bubbled loudly. Then, she poured the boiling water from the noisy kettle into a simple clay pot that was sitting nearby. Instantly, the bubbling stopped. The water in the clay pot sat quiet and still. The old woman turned to Raman and asked, "Tell me, son, why did the first pot make so much noise, but the second one did not?" Raman thought for a moment, "Because the first one was boiling, and the second one is now calm." She smiled knowingly. "Exactly. A boiling pot makes noise, but a calm one reflects peace. You, my son, are like that boiling pot, always angry, always making noise. But tell me, what has all that noise brought you? Respect or fear?" Raman lowered his eyes, unable to answer. She continued, her voice soft yet powerful. "True strength isn't in lifting heavy loads or earning piles of money. Real strength is in controlling the fire inside your own mind. When your heart becomes calm like still water, only then will you find true peace." Her words were simple, yet they pierced his heart deeper than any sermon he had ever heard. That day, Raman went home in silence. That evening, when his son peered nervously around the doorway, expecting another scolding, Raman called softly, "Come, sit beside me." The boy hesitated, then slowly approached. Raman placed a trembling hand on his son's head and whispered, "I'm sorry." The boy blinked, stunned. It was the first time he had ever heard those words from his father. Later that night, as his wife served dinner, Raman said gently, "Sit with me." Tears welled up in her eyes. She had waited years to hear his voice sound so gentle, not angry. The next day in the fields, a worker accidentally dropped a basket of grain. Everyone froze, bracing for Raman's rage to explode. But Raman simply walked toward him, bent down, helped him pick up the basket, and said quietly, "Be careful next time." The worker looked at him in total disbelief. Word spread through the village like wildfire. The angry farmer had changed. Days turned into weeks. Raman wasn't perfect. Sometimes he could feel the anger trying to rise within him, but every time it did, he remembered the boiling pot and the still pot. Before reacting, he paused. Before shouting, he took a breath. Before speaking, he calmed the water inside. Slowly, his house began to fill with laughter again. His workers no longer feared him, they truly respected him. Children who once ran away from him now ran toward him. And for the first time in years, when Raman lay down at night, he slept peacefully. Not because the world around him had changed, but because he had. The moral of this story is that true peace is unfound by controlling others or trying to fix the world around you. It begins the moment you decide to calm the storm within your own heart. A boiling mind makes noise, but a still mind reflects peace. Anger might seem powerful in the moment, but true strength lies in silence and patience. When you master yourself, you master life. If this story touched your heart, I invite you to take a deep breath right now. In your next challenging moment, choose peace over reaction. Choose calm over chaos. And if you'd like more inspiring stories like this one, gently tap that subscribe button. Your journey toward inner peace starts with one small, mindful step. Thank you for watching.